clock read 1:58 a.m. when I heard tires crunching against the gravel outside. I was perched on the couch, wide awake, pretending to watch some late-night talk show rerun, while my stomach twisted in knots. Hours earlier, my wife Emily had texted, "Don't wait up, the meeting's running late." But I had seen her boss, Mark, post an Instagram story just an hour ago. Him and a few colleagues laughing at a rooftop bar. The pit in my stomach told me she wasn't where she claimed to be. So I stayed up, lights dimmed, waiting, not to catch her, but because I needed to see what kind of man I'd become if I kept ignoring my instincts. When headlights flashed across the window, I slipped silently toward the door. Through the narrow gap in the curtains, I saw her. Emily, stepping out of Mark's black BMW, laughing, her hand brushing his arm in a familiarity that made my gut twist. He leaned close, whispered something that made her giggle, then rested his hand on her lower back, the kind of touch that only someone too comfortable would give. My pulse pounded in my ears. I opened the door before she even reached the porch. The sudden sound made them both freeze. Emily's smile disappeared, replaced by shock, while Mark straightened up, like a teenager caught sneaking home past curfew. "Well," I said evenly, leaning on the doorframe, "this must be the meeting you were talking about." Mark stammered something about giving her a safe ride home, his voice cracking halfway through the lie. Emily tried to speak, but her words got tangled in excuses. I could smell alcohol, expensive perfume, and something else, guilt thick in the night air. "You can go now, Mark," I said, eyes locked on his. He hesitated, glancing at her for backup, but she looked away. "Go." My voice stayed steady, but my chest felt tight. He nodded, muttered something under his breath, and hurried to his car, leaving without another word. Emily stepped inside slowly, like she was walking into a courtroom. "It's not what it looks like," she whispered. I laughed, not out of humor, but because it was the oldest line in the book. "Then tell me what it is," I said, arms folded. She started explaining how they were just celebrating a project win, how everyone was there, but her voice trembled. "You came home in his car at 2 a.m. Were the others invisible, or did they vanish when he offered to drive you home?" I asked. She didn't answer. Her silence spoke louder than any story she could have fabricated. I walked past her into the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and stared at my reflection in the microwave door. "You used to hate staying out late," I said quietly. "Now you stay out past midnight, dress up for your boss, and expect me to believe it's all work." She stepped closer. "Ethan, please don't do this right now." I turned slowly. "No, Emily, you already did this. I'm just trying to understand when it started." Tears welled in her eyes, but there was no apology, only fear. The fear of losing comfort, not love. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "You think I don't notice how you light up when he calls?" I asked. "You think I don't hear the laughter you save only for him?" She shook her head, sobbing. "It's not like that." I tilted my head. "Then what is it like?" Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like betrayal disguised as career ambition. She sank onto the couch, covering her face. The house felt smaller, heavier, the space between us thick with unspoken words and the truths we both already knew. 10 minutes passed in silence. The ticking clock sounded louder, like it was counting down the end of something sacred. Finally, I said, "You know, I defended you when people said Mark was getting too close. I told them they were wrong, that you would never cross that line." Her eyes lifted, red and wet. "I didn't. I swear I didn't sleep with him." I nodded slowly. "Maybe not yet, but tell me, did it feel good, being treated like something shiny while I stayed home, paying bills and cooking dinner?" She broke down completely, whispered my name, as if saying it could undo what had been done. I went to the hallway closet and pulled out the small suitcase I'd packed earlier, just in case my fears became real. Her face went pale. "Ethan, where are you going?" she cried. "To find my self-respect," I said, zipping the bag. "You spent too long chasing attention. I've spent too long pretending not to notice." She tried to block the door, but I gently moved her aside. "I'm not angry," I said softly. "I'm just done being the man waiting for scraps of honesty." Her sobs followed me as I stepped into the cool night air. Walking toward my truck, I saw Mark's BMW parked down the street, headlights still off. Coward, I walked straight to his window and knocked. He rolled it down halfway, looking terrified. "You waited," I said. "That's cute." He tried to explain, to apologize, insisting he was just being a good boss. I leaned in. A good boss doesn't text a married woman at midnight or drive her home at 2 o'clock. He couldn't even meet my eyes. "Here's some advice, Mark. Don't mistake what's broken in her marriage as an invitation. It'll destroy you, too." Then I walked away, leaving him staring, speechless. By the time I hit the highway, dawn was breaking. My phone buzzed with her calls. I didn't answer. Somewhere between mile markers 42 and 43, I rolled the window down, letting the cold wind hit my face. It hurt, but it felt clean. I didn't know what came next, but for the first time in months, I felt like myself again. Maybe she'd realized what she'd lost. Maybe not. One thing was certain.